think it's probably safe to go ahead and begin. So if you've all seen the announcement or, for this, the reminder for this session, we're going to be talking about how best to manage your files. And because this is a shared media library, there's a component where, you have the ability to show these items in the larger media library for other webmasters to go ahead and use. And so we want to talk about what types of files we want to see there, because not every file is for everybody. We definitely have a lot of league specific stuff that we upload. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I don't have, very specific examples of the types of files that your league would probably use. But just as examples, I have a few PDFs here at the top. Typically, PDFs are going to be league specific. Usually when we think of what to show in the media library so that all webmasters can use, we are mainly thinking about images, but definitely things that aren't going to have your league name prominently displayed anywhere. The generic league logo is perfect because then that's definitely something everybody can use. And especially when they're just kind of general activities that are happening, when there's live people in the actual center of the images, those are kind of best practices for what you will want to choose. Yes, display these in the media library. So just going off of these PDFs, I am on my manage my MyLO files. I got here by clicking on manage files from the MyLO homepage, or if you're at your own homepage, I'm going to jump over to my demo site homepage. You can get to it through the administrator league menu, and that's manage files there. So depending on where you're at, you can get there both ways. And we're specifically managing our own files, so it allows us to use this, or it gives us the operations here. And this is what we're going to use along with the little checkboxes next to each file. So I'm just going to work with the first 3 PDFs here. And under operations, I want to choose change value. This is going to allow me to make any change to any of the settings that I selected when I was first uploading. So I can change value and then execute. And then before you can start selecting, you just want to make sure that you're making the changes to the right type. So there's fields for image, fields for video, fields for audio, and fields for document. You could just cover all bases and, the changes that you want to make the same changes for each type, but it's probably easier for you to just keep in mind what file type you're working with. So PDFs, Word documents, Excel sheets, PowerPoint, they're all document file types. So what I want to do is change the value for show in the media library. And let me go ahead and open it side by side, just to show off where I'm changing. So for each one, we see that show in the media library is the last column there, and we have them all set to show in the media library. And like I said, typically our PDFs are pretty league specific, so we only need our own webmasters to select them. We don't need other leagues to have access. So coming back over to where I have the operations. So I'm going to select show in media library, and that pops up the question down below. By default, it's just always going to be selected as yes, because that's what I'm changing it to. I can click next. Otherwise, make your appropriate change, but I can go ahead and click next. I think it'll confirm it for me. Otherwise, it's going to, it sends it on through. It processes all 3 of the files. Whoops. Let's make sure that that went through. Let me double check. I did do that in the document section, I do believe. So I'm going to try that again because I'm not seeing the expected result there.
Maurice, didn't you check the one that said do show it in the media?
Oh, yes, sorry. I was supposed to reverse it. Thank you for that. Yes, that is correct. So I don't want them to show up in the media library. This means that it does say you're the only person, but it's you and any other webmaster listed in your league. So your webmaster group would be able to access this to use it in the media library. Thanks, Maddie. And now we should see, it'll say, no, only display for you or something. No, I am the only person who should be able to use this media. So it's really helpful to clean these things up, especially when we are searching for new images to use. We promote the media library to be used in that way, that because it's shared, you're able to look through and find new images that are images that are new to your league. They may not be new to the original league that put them out there, but when they have the league specific logo attached, or that's usually when it's the hardest, or if it's, you know, an image that just has text about something going on in your league, it's usually pretty easy to figure out those obvious ones and remove those from the media library. But any others that you might have trouble with, we could always tackle together. But any questions so far?
When it says 6 stats, 6 places and 4 places, what does that mean?
So that keeps track of where it is being used and where it has been used before. So if, let's click on one of these. So the members only PDF, I have added it. So like inserted it into all 4 of these different, you know, this looks like an action alert, an event, and then 2 different pages. It may not be there now, but I have added it in the past. And then the times that this file has been used, I may have removed it and re-added it that number of times, but it is a somewhat helpful list to see when you're considering deleting a file. If you see that there are numbers under the, what is this called? The places used. Then, you know, before I delete, you got to think like a tree PDF. I see that it's been used in 5 places. So my first thought would be click on the 5 places link. Then you can take a look at each one of those 5 places. And if the link is actually being used on that page, then you might reconsider deleting. It's more helpful with images when, especially like if you have a duplicate image, if you want to get rid of images and clean up your media library. If you see that the usage is at 0, you can easily get rid of those. If the usage is at 1 or more, just take a look at where it supposedly is being used, and it may not be showing up there. So I see there are a few hands raised. Jan, I saw your hand first.
My question is, will you see other leagues usage of your image?
If you have it showing in the media library, yes. I mean, it's a possibility, yes.
But will it show up in this list so you can know that if you're thinking about deleting it, you wouldn't delete it if somebody else is using it?
Yeah, let me use an image that I probably have shared. Let's see about this one. I do have that shared to everybody, but I think this might, yeah, this is my own demo site. But it's an all-inclusive list. If it is showing up in the media library, it is going to, here we go, we got 6 places on this one. It is going to just show you which site is being or is using it. So let's see, it looks like Midland area posted this on an event. There we go. So they are actually using it. And you know, if it looks like an old item that they aren't using and you really do want to get rid of the image, you could reach out to them too. But this is a helpful, the usage list is helpful to see if in fact it is being used. Because again, if there are a number of links here, you want to click through to them to double check that the picture is still there. Because like I said, if they've added it before, it's going to still be tracked. And let's say they remove it and they add a different picture, or they just remove it from the page, it's still going to be listed on the usage list just because it's historical.
And you knew that was Midlands because when you hovered over it, you could see it in the path.
That's right. Yeah, I was just hovering, but you could just right click and open in a new link for any of them just to see them fully. Jan, did you have any follow-up question after that?
If it's a members only page, you wouldn't have access, right? So then you'd have to contact them. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, unless it were on the landing page of the members only section. That page, because you're a MyLO member, you have access to, but anything further into their members only section, you don't. Maddie, I saw your hand next.
Yeah, so I was wondering, as a general practice, would it make sense for us to not put most of our stuff into the media library, that we would only put like generic pictures and, you know, those kinds of things in the media library?
It probably is, because I think for the most part, leagues are probably producing things with your logo. I know that's what we do at the state level. Most graphics that we are creating are going to have California in there. So yeah, if you know that really it's only useful to your league, you may just have your default as no, I will be the only one to use this media, or whatever that option is. And then when they're, you know, generic images, especially when they're photos, if you're taking live photos at an event, that's what I see we need a lot of, because it's probably one of the least like types of images that we have. And so make those available in the media library, especially when you're using images that are coming from like the National League. I know sometimes we see like their Flickr images, that's what it is. We'll upload those to our own media library, leave those as, you know, available to everybody in the media library, and hopefully it'll reduce the number of times it gets uploaded. You know, we don't have to have multiple uploads of one image, that leaving it available to everybody helps.
Yeah, so yeah, that was one thing I was concerned about, is like if we take pictures at events and we want to post them, we need to make sure that anyone who's in those pictures is given their permission to be posted, right?
It's not so pertinent because they're out in public and at a public event, but you know, to cover your own bases, you may want to, but don't feel that it's super important. I would say maybe if there's minors, it might be more important, but just the folks being out in public, it's not as
Yeah, we had an event, it was a climate event, and we had a bunch of high school students that were holding signs, and we took pictures of them. Their pictures are great, but we did ask them if it was okay to post.
Yeah, that definitely, yeah, we've had that as well, especially doing your high school voter registration events. It's a lot of good photo opportunities. So
Right,
you want to
yeah.
make sure that, yeah, you have all your bases covered.
And just one more thing, when you were showing us how to do the defaults, I missed the part of how you got there. Could you show that again?
Yeah, for sure. Let me, I'm gonna just go to the home page. So I'm just at my.lwv.org. One place to do it is here. Manage files is in the main menu on the main MyLO homepage. And then if you go to your own homepage, it is in your Administrator League menu, and I just went to Manage Files here.
Okay, so it's just in manage files, because I use that to put them on, but I never looked at.
Oh,
I guess,
okay.
other.
Yeah. Oh, and then once you're on Manage Files, it's the operations. So
Okay,
the operations here, and then checking the boxes for each file type. Let's make a few more changes actually, because I want to mix some stuff up. So
okay, so you got the file types by filtering on a particular file type, and then you change all the individual files, or is there
you
like
can do that. Yeah. So I was working on it on a real small scale just by checking, a handful. But
okay,
if you know that you need to make mass changes, and it's just, let's say you're making the change of showing the media library, you're changing it from yes to no. And you know that it doesn't matter regardless of the files, these are the ones that you need to change from yes to no.
Mhm.
You can narrow them down. So let's say all of my documents, I'm going to apply, so I can narrow my list down to all documents. And I'm just going to check the list for all of these. Most of them are already set to no, but it won't hurt to check them all off. And I come up here to operations and change value, hit
Okay.
execute. And I was trying to show an example where it's multiple file types in one, but I did just do the documents. But I can do show in media library and choose no, so that they all are or set to not show up.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I remember now that you did operations, but I had forgotten, so.
No worries. It
Yeah.
sits there, and it's very easy to overlook, especially when you see, even if you click through it and you see change value, it's not as obvious what's coming up after that.
Right. Good, thanks.
Mary Jo, did you have a question?
Yeah, well, first of all, I did want to say I think there's a forum on the national webpage about getting signatures for picture ops and stuff like that. Somewhere I saw that.
Oh.
Wanted that. Okay, so when we go to manage files, and I click that, are only my files going to show up? I thought more than our files showed up.
Yeah, so when you first click manage files, you're only seeing your own at first, but then you need to click, if you want to see all the files, you need to click on view all files.
Oh, that's the only way I'd see them all. Okay.
See them all, yeah.
So go down a little bit. So am I going to see my files right there?
Yes, I
So
did narrow down my
right
own
there. Okay.
to the documents, but yeah, you'll
Okay.
see your full list of files.
Okay, so if I remove something from my library, but I've also in the past said that it could be in the other library, the main one. Let's see. So if I delete it, it'll get deleted from the main library.
Yeah, you are the owner of the file.
Okay.
If you delete it, it's gone for everybody.
I want to make sure. Okay. So what I'm confused about is, so I've got a whole bunch in my library of working with different things. One thing trying to get the slideshow to work, putting different sizes and stuff. So there's all this junk in there I want to get rid of. And somehow I think I went to manage. I wonder if I went to manage content or something. But anyway, I'm seeing like the same picture, and it's all and they're all saying that it's used once. And how could they all be being used if I only ended up using probably the one that would be the top, the first one? I don't know how to
In
explain
those
it.
cases, it will take a little bit of like tweaking, what I would recommend is if you are still using those slideshows, if they're still showing up in the slideshow, go to the slideshow itself. So let's say I'm going to look at this take action slideshow item. I'm going to go to manage content and hopefully find it in my list. I'm going to just search by title, take action. Because what I can do is look at the slideshow item and see which picture is being used. So I can edit that, and I would recommend renaming it, because what this will do is rename it in the media library, and you can say, you know, don't delete this one, or, you know, in use, whatever you want to call it, just so that you know it's the correct one used on the slideshow. And then every other version, then you know you can delete. Because that's the downfall of the usage list, that it is historical and it'll show where it was previously used. It won't show where it is now being used, if that makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah, so in the case of what I just described, where I've got different versions of something that I did end up having one good one,
Mhm.
I wouldn't go to the managed files because there would only be one thing showing up. The final
No,
thing.
if you were at manage files, if you did see all the different versions of the picture you've uploaded, but to find out exactly which version of that picture is the one you are currently using, you'll go to manage content to find the
Right.
slideshow item.
Right,
And
that, I
then
know, yeah.
Now you can rename it here. And once you've renamed it, going back to manage files, you'll know exactly which version not to delete, because you've renamed that one.
Okay, I think I understand. And there's no way to just be at, you know, have the media library open where I'm actually seeing, like, for the pictures of it and saying, oh, I don't want that anymore. I mean, I have to go, if I click it when I'm in the media library, will it let me get to somewhere where I can work on getting rid of it? Does that make sense?
Once you're clicked on to manage files, you're looking at your side of the.
Right, I know, but what I'm
Library that
saying
you
is when I'm
deleted.
in the media library, I can see that, oh my God, there's 6 of the same pictures.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to see that in managed files. I'm only going to see one picture.
In manage files, you'll see all of the different pictures.
I will.
Yeah,
Oh.
and in manage content, you would see the link to the slideshow item. And then once you open that slideshow item and edit it, then you could get to this to see exactly which image is being used. And we might even use your site as an example. Do you?
I would
That's
love
something
it.
that we could do maybe at the end if we have some time there.
Yeah, okay.
It might be
yeah,
easier to actually show an example that
Yeah.
has the multiple versions of an image that you're talking about.
Thank you.
could
Mhm.
Mary Jo tell us, she mentioned that there's a form, is it, you said on the national site?
yeah.
For
Well, I know I read it somewhere, you know, when they're talking about
going to high schools.
pictures or, yeah, maybe it's under the youth voter registration stuff. I don't know. I just
It's
know I saw
probably,
one somewhere.
what kind of form would you call that? It's like photo.
It was just like a form that you could give to the kids to say, you know, you have my permission.
Let's see, photo release, something like that.
Yeah.
Here we go. This might be it. Photo video release template. I'll put the link in the chat. Yeah. Looks like they have some stuff there.
Well, I'm shocked that you could find something on your first go.
It
that
is
web-
nice though. It's refreshing. Okay, and I saw in the chat, it looks like that question was about the release that we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I saw, yeah.
So I'm gonna see if this actually does change the title, like I was thinking. Let's do event there. just wanted to change that image, I don't even have to save the slideshow item. And I'm gonna go back to manage files. Because I want to see if it did actually change that file name.
Ooh.
Oh, I can't remember what it was called.
Get action or
There goes
something?
Sarah, let me
Oh.
see. Oh, I guess that file doesn't belong to me. That's probably why. Let's see.
Was it get action? Wasn't that the name of it or something? Or maybe you're doing something different.
So it'll definitely be easier if I'm masquerading as you and testing it out with your files. I am masquerading as a different user, and so
Okay.
it's not. I don't have it set up in the way to do the example. But do we want to play around more with the manage files? I probably could have gotten to it there as well. I
Well,
can
I wanted
show
to
off some more.
understand that when you change the status, like whether it's for you or for the whole world,
Mhm.
that's just some data, so metadata associated with the file. But when you say delete, what do you really, what's really happening? Is that putting it in some trash somewhere for the system to clean up? Or, I mean, is it really, I mean, they're two different things. One, when you're saying, you're just limiting it to some permission, setting permissions
Mhm.
for the file versus actually getting rid of the file.
Yeah, I think it is a complete like deletion of it. Let's go ahead and test it with one of mine here. I'm under manage my files. I did not know I had math jokes. This is probably something I can delete.
It's not being used anywhere.
I hope not. Okay, yeah, these are definitely math jokes. I don't even remember uploading this, but I can go ahead and delete this. You can either delete it from here or from up top. It is the same. And I think it just confirms. Yeah, so the fact that you have this action here, you can't recover it. We at the our tech team can, but it does take some time, and so we recommend, if you don't want to get rid of it, the archiving is not the greatest solution, because there is that option. If I check the box and use the operations to archive, I haven't actually done this myself before. Okay, so it might spit it out to you in a zip file. I might need to get some more information on what this function is, because like I said, I've not done it before, but I'm assuming it's not going to be the best alternative. I don't think that we have this set up for webmaster use. It's probably for the MyLO team and the developer team use. So did that answer your question, Liz?
Well, it's just making distinctions. So
Okay.
if the tech people have access, the file actually exists, but it must have some flag, or it exists in a place that's more like the trash on a PC where you put things
Yeah,
in the,
kind of like the recycling bin
yeah,
of
right,
MyLO.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's something like that, because I know that with like our content, when it comes to like our pages, our events, all that different stuff, as opposed to files, those are, let's say if they do get accidentally deleted, we can bring them back through the latest backup. I would assume that that's similar to how the images are kept, if they're deleted and we need to bring them back, or whatever files. But
Well,
yeah,
it's a little bit like Time Machine on a Mac. If you have a former save of your system, you can get it even if you've deleted it in the meantime.
I see. Yeah, very, very much like that. Yeah, I'm not sure how often we're doing those, but they're happening regularly, those backups.
So this is Mary Jo. So we asked, is there, you talk about distinctions. So if I take an image that I said was okay to be in the media library, and I change the status to only me, to only us, does anything happen to that picture that California League is using? Do you know what I mean? It's not going
I
to
do.
disappear.
Yeah, I have not tested that out myself, actually. Let's see if I have any that are being used. I don't want to mess with a league that's, I'm just hoping that I have it in use.
Well,
and
I know
maybe
earlier you were
demos.
showing us something where there were like 4 lines about where they were being used. And so we could find it that way if we really cared, I guess, too. But anyway, I don't know.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of how's the best way to test it.
Something with the date on it.
Well, I don't want
These
to.
these are slideshows, aren't they? Yeah.
I don't want to mess with someone's site. Oh, I do have this one. Supposedly, it looks like it's on the demo local site. Okay, it is there. Sorry, I'm trying to think it through. I am masquerading as LWVC demo, so I'm as that webmaster, or I'm that user. I'm the webmaster of the demo site and the demo local. So I don't know if I do change this. I'm just going to edit it directly. If I can change this, I don't know if it's going to save that for me. Whoops. I have to choose the permission and re-enter the alt text. Probably wasn't there before. So I've changed it to not show up in the media library. Let's see. I don't know if this is the right example though, just because I'm the webmaster for both of these sites, or I'm masquerading as the webmaster for both of these sites. Do we want to take the chance with Michigan? I don't want to do that to them. I could probably test it out. Let's see. If anybody has any other questions that we would like to get into, I can make a note of this and we can tackle this another time.
Yeah.
Because I am curious.
Yeah. I think it's a good question.
I think so too, because that's probably the best way to do it if you don't want to delete the images, but let's say somebody for some reason is using it, but it's league specific. It would be nice if you could just make it show up just for you and your webmasters, your league's webmasters, and nobody else would have to use it by accident.
Yeah, it certainly argues for putting things on your own, because if you have to do cleanup where you go through and figure out if anybody else is using it, that's very tedious and time consuming.
Yeah, it definitely can be.
But I was just thinking with like ones that I'm sort of experimenting with, it could be something that, especially a slideshow that if it were working correctly, you would, say, yeah, put it in the big one. But then I guess if I'm knowing that I'm having issues with it, then obviously I could say no. I mean, no. And then I guess if I did finally figure out that it was working correctly, then I guess I could go back somehow and say, okay, anybody can use it. I guess, I don't know.
Well, you wonder how many people use your even bother to look at some of yours. Most people are
Well,
busy trying to do something specific to their own league,
right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I
It-
tried to sign up for that group, that Facebook group, and the
Yeah.
last time I looked, they said still waiting to get permission.
Oh,
Is there some way to nudge those people?
I wonder, well, I know that the league, they follow the same kind of is that called the naming convention, like as our emails. So I know Kayla Vix runs the group, so you might try her first initial and last name, kvix@lwv.org.
Okay.
That's what I always try. If I don't actually know their email addresses, it's usually worth a shot.
How do you spell VIX?
VIX.
Okay.
V what?
VIX.
Oh, I put it like Vicks for your cough. Thanks for
Yeah, for sure.
clarifying.
And I'll double check. I think why doesn't it have me logged in already? I don't know my password. Sorry. Well, do I have my phone close? I might be able to pull up the group just to double check that she is still the moderator and that's how you spell her name. It's the new media group, right?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is her last name. And she had been regularly posting at the end of last year. I would assume she's probably still the moderator.
Yeah, mine says cancel request.
Does it? Like it's giving you the option to cancel it.
Yeah, because I've already requested and it just sits there with cancel request.
How
What's the
long?
Facebook group? What
It's
Facebook group? You talking?
League of Women
Women.
Voters New Media. Let's see if I can. Maybe I can Google it and put the link.
Yeah, we're trying to get more involved in Facebook, and so it'd be great to be able to be part of that, I think.
Yeah, it's a pretty good resource. There's always some kind of question being popped in, and then a whole discussion starting off of, what is your league doing? This is what we're doing, and this is what we're doing. So you just have to request to join the group. It looks like it's not moderated, but you have to be accepted to join.
So I'm sending her an email.
Awesome.
I assume that's the person.
I would think so. I was hoping that there might be, maybe an email, but there's not. And then I see a question in the chat from Eileen. How to update photos on the front page. Could you elaborate a little more? Is it like the slideshow that we were talking about? Let me get back to a home page. Are these the photos that you're talking about changing on the home page or the front page, Eileen?
Thank you. I had to unmute myself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically, I'm new and this is a great resource. Thank you for hosting. So when I have our homepage, we've had photos and I just wanted to change them out. And when I went to manage front page, it didn't look intuitive. So I just was trying to do that. Thank you.
For sure. Yeah, before I jump into that, thank you for bringing that up. It definitely is, when you're
yeah.
coming in fresh, manage front page items is a little unclear. When you end up on manage front page items, you're actually going to be managing the list that comes down below the body. And it just keeps going as you go down the page.
Yeah.
For the slideshow, you actually have to pick out the item that you want to make changes to. So let's say I'm going to make a change to the slideshow example. I just need to take note of the name first. So slideshow example is the name that I need to remember. Then I'm going to follow through to manage content because a slideshow item is a piece of content.
Okay.
And then I can either search by the title up here, or I can go down the list.
Oh, great. Okay.
And once you're there, you can click straight to edit, just because you know that that's the one that you want to make changes to.
Yeah.
When it comes to replacing an image, you're going to want to remove. So remove, and this is something that we brought up in our last session that we're going to be working on soon. But remove means that it's going to be removed from this slideshow item. It won't remove it from the library, from the media library. It's just going to remove it from this item and allow you to attach a different image.
Okay, great.
So yeah, and then any other changes, to the title, you can add a link to your slideshow item. You can add a caption, a whole bunch of things there.
All right.
And have you gone through the process of adding an image to your content?
Yes,
Okay.
not to front page, but other like a calendar events. I'm comfortable with that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's the same process.
Okay.
Well, Amaris,
Uh-huh.
there are issues, as we know, about making it fit and so forth.
True. When it comes to the dimensions, and we have it here, the optimal size is 800 by 400 pixels. It does also depend on like the subject of your image. If you have, let's say, text that's going all the way to the corners, it is going to get obscured. We know that, let me come back to a home page. We know that the slideshow has this title, and it has that, opaque bar underneath. And so that is gonna block some of that text if you have an image set up that way, or if the subject of the image is extending to the corners and you don't want it to get cut off, just know that you will have to tweak the image some. We have if you haven't already seen our library of training videos, and there is a video on how to tweak an image.
Okay.
But yeah, depending on. Yeah, go ahead.
I have resized a lot of images when I've done MailChimp outbound, so I'm somewhat comfortable with that. But
okay, and
yeah.
Hopefully you may have worked with that aspect of image, because it is just a 2 to 1 rectangular size.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's easy to get used to.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, I found everything you've given me is great. So thank you. When you
Amaris, couldn't she have also gone to manage content and then just unpublished it?
Yes.
That's what I've done.
Yeah, if you wanted to just start with a new one, you can do that too. Yeah, and that helps especially if you wanted to kind of keep a record of what has been. You can always just create new and leave things unpublished.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's a seasonal one, maybe you could use.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, and you don't have to make changes.
So manage content, in other words, would have given me all the inventory of content. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, manage content is one of your best friends when you're trying to find something or find a page or find an event, find something that is otherwise not easily found through your menu or anywhere else.
No, and when you, not to take too much. When you mentioned we're going to cover today the topic, how would I have known that? Is that what was submitted to you? And
Oh, yeah, we have a group, a Google group. If you haven't already been added, I could add you
okay,
right now.
got it. Okay.
But let me drop that link in the chat and you can
Okay.
just
All right.
request join.
Terrific.
Oh, and I hadn't seen this one yet. Yeah, we'll make announcements here if we have any upcoming changes. Folks will ask questions, make requests. It's
Terrific.
pretty much
Okay.
our communication
Mechanism.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
I tried to send things to k.vix and kayla.vix at lwv.org, and it says your message to Kayla has been blocked. See technical details.
Wow.
They
Oh,
don't
so
want to
it
hear
did-
from me.
It did say that it was Kayla. It confirmed it. Sounds like.
Well, this happened for both of them, kayla.vix and k.vix.
Well, try without the dot because that's how we do it. We just do, first initial, last name.
So kvix or KaylaVix or both?
Just K Vix. I mean, you could try both, but I know that it worked before. I don't know if they've changed, and this was years ago that it worked. I don't know if they've changed their, naming convention since.
I could send it to both of them.
It wouldn't hurt.
I could CC the. Sorry, but I would like to get as part of that group.
Definitely.
No, it sounds like a great group. Yeah, all these resources.
Do you think there's a general email, Amaris, media at, like membership at, I don't remember.
I think I'm curious if there's a communication.
Oh, maybe it's communications. Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah.
Let me do a quick search of.
Yeah, I got a communications. I'll
inbox.
add that to the too.
Okay.
I've used that, I think.
So is that communications@lwv.org?
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, no. Thought I could possibly find her email. But yeah, I think communications and trying both of those others for Kayla will be good. And I will definitely get to this Google group message today. Do we have any other questions?
Well, you were going to go back and look at ours, maybe just to see what I was talking about.
Yeah. Let's
If
poke
that's,
around.
if that's what you meant, yeah.
Yeah, I think
And then naturally,
unless
Jen
anybody
and
else
I-
has any other questions, I think we're good for that.
So
From the
Amarie,
math group.
when we were talking about the slides, the size of the slide, didn't we talk about sometimes it's better to not make it exact so that you can slide it up and down to get whatever out from under that banner?
Yeah, that is always helpful. Like in the example I was saying, if you have an image that has text going to the corners, you can kind of trick it by adding extra space to the bottom or top or to the sides, depending on if you need to be able to drag it around up or down or left or right or both. Because what the slideshow item window is, it really is like a window. So it has a specific 800 by 400 window. And if your image is bigger than that, then that gives you the ability to slide it around. My example last time was of a Ouija board. When you move that thing around,
Yeah,
it's only
yeah.
focusing on the specific area of that thing that's sliding around. So that's a similar way of how the slideshow window is. It's only 800 by 400. So making your image bigger than that kind of giving it white space around the sides. Typically, like at least 100 pixels will give you enough to move around. 200 is comfortable. Anything more than that, you might have the white space showing, like displaying, but definitely play around with it. But yeah, thank you for that, Maddie, because that's the conclusion of that. If you have an image that the corners are being obscured and you need it to have a little bit more like center focus, make the sides and the top and bottom a little bigger with some white space, then you'll have the ability to move it around to where you need.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so okay, let me make my way on over to your manage files here.
And I don't know, I think I told you, maybe I told you last time that I actually found Arab American Heritage Month slide from League, and it worked perfectly for the slideshow.
Yay, with no tweaking needed.
Nothing.
Yay. Oh, nice.
That second one.
Oh, I like that very much.
And you know, it's interesting. I did not find it on the national show, but we have somebody that does our Facebook, and I saw it on her Facebook, and she said she had gotten it from Facebook National League. So that's something I've got to remember to check. And then
That is a good point. Yeah.
yeah.
You know, come to think of it, I wonder if they have other social media channels. Let's see. So Facebook, that one we probably all already have a link to. But I'm gonna drop these all in the chat. Yeah, any pictures that they're posting, they're up for grabs. I wonder if they have some good resources on their Instagram. They probably would post somewhat regularly. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's probably similar stuff to what's on their Facebook.
Do you think it'd be easier size-wise? Do you think it would be easier to use those as a slideshow because they're on Instagram as opposed to being on a website, or has it nothing to do with each other?
No, that is a good point.
Okay.
It is a good point that you make. I think for slideshow purposes, Facebook would probably be easier.
That's what I try to
probably
use
be more
for-
friendly.
Yeah.
Because these
what I
images
thought.
are square.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, I'm not logged in. And then we know about their Flickr. Let's see. Yeah,
But those
that's
are
the
mostly
photos.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, they are mostly people. And they're usually at specific events. They'll have a group of images. But yeah, this is another resource. Is definitely
Yeah, I've used a couple of
not
those.
as pretty as the social media ones. They are beautiful though. They just the social media ones have been, you know, vamped up and
Yeah.
but you have all of these resources for images available that are already, you know, leaguified.
That's very important.
Yes. No, exactly. No extra steps needed from you because they've already been added with the League Touch.
They're pre-approved, right?
There you
Yeah.
go.
So will you put all of these in the summary of this meeting, these office hours?
Yeah.
Thank you. I think you had them someplace else before.
Usually I'll add a description to the video, but it has been a while since I've done a summary. I think this session warrants it. I know I do want to follow up with like a short video on how we were working with the files. Just so that's going to live in our training video library. But I'll also have a little follow-up of like, this is what we covered and here are some helpful links.
And if you want to have it right now, you can click on more in the chat and save the chat.
Yeah. Good thinking. I probably need to do that for myself. There we go. Okay. So I'm masquerading as you, Mary Jo. are there, which were the images? Do you know?
Well,
Um,
see, all these are good. What I'm saying is I'm thinking about, okay, well, here, okay,
Here.
go back up. So you can see that I tried and I eventually did get one that I wasn't thrilled with, but I used it for the slideshow.
Mhm.
But you can see that there are obviously more than one of these. I guess I can assume that the first one at 105 displaces 101, even though it says one place. That's what's kind of confusing me, you know, because I'm not, can't use
Right.
two. Although excuse me, actually I might have one of those in an article. I can't remember now. And a slideshow. Now that I think about it, I can't remember, but maybe not. I can't remember.
So your first assumption, I think it's a pretty smart one. The fact that it's at the top of the list, and then when you go further up, there isn't another version above it. That's
Yeah.
usually a good sign that that's the final one, and that's the one that's attached to your slideshow item. But then again, the other way to confirm that is to look at the places that it's being used. And we know, sorry, before I go there, you just want to make a note of the image name. And sorry, it's right here. So this is the image name, twitter.png. If we go over to this item, we're going to edit it so that we can see what that image name is. Because we can
So,
see the image, but we can't see exactly which one it is in the media library.
Maurice, I noticed that those two pictures have a different format. One is square and one is rectangular. So one may be intended for Instagram and the other one is for other purposes. The
I was
two
fooling around.
ones that we just looked at.
Yeah, it's a possibility, but as far as where it's being used in MyLO, that's all we're concerned with now.
Okay.
And so the twitter.png image is the one that is being used on this slideshow item. So that confirms this is the one that you need. You don't want to get rid of twitter.png. So I'm going to come back to the list of images or to the media library.
It says it's being used twice.
And that's just because it was added maybe the first time and then added a second time. That is not as useful of a list once you click and see the number there. That one won't make a difference in you checking it out. But coming back over, because you had mentioned that it might be the other one of the other versions might be used somewhere else. That would make it harder. You would have to then check each place. But because you know that you started out adding these to a slideshow item, it's safe to assume that if they only have one place listed, it's where it was on that slideshow item. And then you said it doesn't work and you removed it.
Yeah.
But then that one place is still listed. So for this one here, we have two places. So that makes me believe this is the one that you have on an article. Does that make sense? Like it's now listed the second place, and that second place is probably where it actually still is. So I'm just going to confirm that. So if I click on the places, I see that it is, and I don't know if you guys can see the bottom right of my, or bottom left of my screen. Let me just open it. So I'm going to open these in two new windows and I'll show off what I was trying to show in the bottom corner. So we see that in the URL up here, it says slideshow. If you can see that, it's kind of small. This is the one that we were just looking at with the twitter.png image. But then if I come over here, this is the second place that it's being used. It says article up here in the URL. So it's the same name as the slideshow item, but this is the article. And this is, you know, this image is probably the one that we were just looking at. Where is it? This one here, disability voter FB /IG 2002. That's what we're looking for right now. And here in the main image, that is the same image. And we probably, without having to come in and investigate and match the names with under the main image with what we see here, we probably didn't need to do that because we were able to figure it out with the clues of, you know, the fact that the slideshow version was the last one uploaded. That's a pretty easy tell that, you know, this one ended up working because you don't have another one uploaded after it. And then the other clue was this one has 2 places listed because you did in fact add it to a second place. All these other versions that have 1 place listed, they're the ones that are saying, yeah, I was there. I'm not there anymore, but I was there.
Oof.
So I could
But
just,
based on knowing
yeah.
your behavior of adding this image, you know that these are the versions that did not work, you know, excluding this one that's added in 2 places.
Okay. So there must be a lot of images there because we do have a lot of images. So it just keeps going and going.
Yeah, when it comes to multiple versions, like when it's a similar situation like this, if
Mm.
they all say 1 place, you're safe to assume that wherever you were trying to add them to, that's what's listed there, and you removed it and tried again. You know, you removed that image and then tried adding or uploading another version, and then you said that one doesn't work, but it still got tracked, and then you added a new version and then it worked, and then there's no image after that. So it is a little messy, but knowing the behavior of this usage list helps to figure out which ones to keep and which ones you can in fact remove without affecting anything.
And, you know, and then I was just thinking, back to that original question that you're going to kind of do research on. If I deleted something from my library, or if I changed the status, then will it be removed from, I guess that would be almost the same question. Would it be removed from the main library, the general library?
It will be, like, as far as,
Okay.
you know, if we
future use,
click
that way.
on view all files, it won't display there anymore.
Okay.
But as far as, let's say you uploaded a file and my demo site was using it and you changed the status, my assumption is that it will still show up on my site. But let's say if I remove that image and I wanted to add it somewhere else, I'm not going to have the ability to.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Makes sense. Okay.
But yeah, I definitely want to check that out because I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Jennifer.
Thank you. How do you get to the media library?
Depending on how you're trying to go at it, if you're trying to insert files into your content, it's going to be different. Let's start out first at your home page. So if you're trying to, let's say, upload files to the media library, if you're trying to edit existing files, you're going to want to go through manage files in your administrator league menu. That's where we just were, and we were making changes to multiple files at a time. And then from here, you can also reach the larger media library if you click on view all files. When you're going to the media library this way, you aren't able to add images or files to your content. This is not the way to get there. If you want to do that, let's say I want to put a pretty picture in an article, or I want to add a link to a PDF in my action alert, whatever it is, I need to go through manage content instead, or go directly to that content item. So I'm going to go back to the home page. You know, I could go through the About Us page if I wanted to add a picture there, or if I need to locate the slideshow item that I want to make a change to, I go through manage content. And I'm just going to pretend to edit something. Let's pretend to edit a position. Once you're editing something, you have one place to get to the media library is here in that little mountain image. Whoops, trying to zoom in
Oh,
here.
okay.
So that's going to bring up the media browser, and it gives you the function to either upload from your computer, upload from the web, or choose from the existing files.
Okay, yeah, this is what I was thinking of, because you can delete it there too, can't we?
You cannot. You can just insert images into your content. So if you choose, and again, I won't save any of this. I'm just gonna drop something in. If I submit the image, it drops in, but that's it. I'm not able to make any changes to it. If I click that media browser button again, it gives me the final page of options that I was just shown, but there isn't any way to make any further changes to the image. That's done through manage files.
Okay,
And then
but
one other,
you can delete from the media file. When
from
you're in the,
manage files, you can delete. So I'm right now editing a position, I'm editing content. That's different than if I were at manage files. There I can make changes to, you know, delete a file or change the value so that it doesn't show up in the media library, whatever it is that I want to change. But here I can delete.
okay,
Two questions. So when you were on the, I think when you came to manage file, yeah. So if you want, you didn't talk about add a new file. I mean, wouldn't that be a place to do if you weren't working on a particular article? But
Yeah,
you knew
no, yeah.
you were working, you know, you're going to be working on it in a couple of weeks. So I might as well take care of it now, get it in there.
That's where
Okay.
you, yeah. So manage files is where you can edit existing files or you can upload new files.
Yeah. Okay. And then could you go back to where you were with our position?
Let me just go back.
So it's under advocacy.
There we go. There I go.
Oh, okay. So, because what I wanted to ask you was like the beginning of the page of the positions, because we've been working on that. And there was a question real quick we were going to ask you. Could you go
About the position,
yeah,
to go to the
click
positions
on,
page?
click on positions, yeah. Okay, and go down a little. See where it says position, and is that hardwired?
That is part of the default display.
Because, I mean, do most people put the whole position there? I mean,
Let me show, let me see, hopefully the National League has, or we've added them, I think.
well,
So
that's,
what is
those are our
typically,
local leagues, local
what is-
positions.
what is typically to go there is the one sentence log line. So it's just a quick blurb about the position. That's how I'm not sure if it was a structure that we took from League Easy Web or what, but I know it's a typical structure for positions that I've seen before. And so that's what usually displays under the word position is the one sentence log line.
So you mean it'd be like a one sentence summary of we've got like 8 positions. So of each position, we'd have to come up with a 1-page summary or something?
A one sentence, yeah, something quick. You could, typically it's like, we support this because, or, you know, or we support this, and it could be something very simple. But
you can't get rid of that word position. Okay, all right. Huh. And I guess you get to that through that when you're creating or editing the position somewhere. It's
yeah,
there.
so if I click on one of these to edit it, It's this field here.
One sentence log line. Okay.
And it says this should be very short with no formatting and is for the page listing all positions.
Oh, wait. Oh, well, now wait a minute. That doesn't make sense to me.
The
It's-
page that we were just on, positions, it lists
that-
all the positions.
But I'm talking about oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I apologize. Yes. Okay. Oh, so it could just be one sentence. Oh, it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
for each one.
It-
Well, no, wait a minute. I
So
thought-
it does have to be for each one because
Oh,
each
that's what
one
I
is gonna
thought. All
display
right,
the
all
word
right.
position and have the empty
Yeah.
space under.
Okay. It's okay. Just the wording of that. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
But it is a little confusing to just have one sentence log line and then have position and brief because they're probably pretty similar.
Yeah.
And you don't even have a
Yeah,
log
it's
line.
gonna look dumb. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
So do you have to, I've not used this position page yet. So do you have to fill, I'm looking at my version of it here. So do you have to fill out position in brief, the details, position history, or can you just do like position in brief? You'll have your one sentence log on, position in brief, and then save it.
yeah, no parts of it are required. So that's why you can go without the one sentence log line. You know, let's say if the position in brief, like somebody said, if the position in brief and one sentence log line are the same, you could just use the one sentence log line or just the position in brief. But know that if you're not using the one sentence log line, we're going to see the same thing as on the Dearborn Heights positions page. It won't have any text following the word position. So yeah, and then the same as the other sections, the description, the position history, they're not required, or the summary, or no, sorry, the details and the position history are not
The
required.
details, why do you have an edit summary? Where would the summary go?
I think that's just something left
Over,
over.
yeah, because
I
I know
think
how to
because
use it for
it's-
other stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it's behaving like the
Okay.
body. But yeah,
All
I
right.
think the one sentence log line takes priority over the
Yeah,
summary
right,
in the
right.
position.
Right, thank you.
And Mary Jo, we can get rid of the details, and then it takes care of the fact that the details are exactly the same as read more.
Oh. I'm not sure what you mean, but okay.
Can you go to the read more part, Amara?
To the actual page or to the
Yes.
actual position.
Yes, please.
So where you see the read more, Jennifer, is when we're listing all the positions.
Yes,
Is that
And
what
so
you want to see?
yes, please.
So to the positions page.
Okay, see where it says read more?
Yes.
She doesn't like that.
No, click, well, the reason I don't like it is because it's already there. It's the same as,
Clicking Dearborn City Planning.
yes.
Right.
So is there a way to get off read more?
Is there a way to, that is going to be part of the display.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
hardwired,
Okay, so maybe what we do,
is leave it.
well, we can add the position part. So what happens, wait a minute, now I'm trying, what happens when we hit Dearborn City Planning? That's when
We're getting to the same place if I click on Dearborn City Planning or read more, where we just were.
okay,
Read
Okay.
more probably makes sense if you have a sentence in there under position. You know, 'cause
Yes.
then you get a real brief statement of what the position is, and if you want to know more, you click read more. But if you only have the heading, then you're more likely to just want to click on the heading. That's how it feels to me.
Is there an exemplary way to do this? I mean,
Well-
do you have a one where it's been done in the best way? Because there's so many options here of how to
Yeah,
set it up.
I don't think that there's one best way or one way that it needs to be done. I just pulled up the National Leagues for an example, and these one sentence log lines, we've taken them directly from the impact on issues. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know which version it is.
Yes, the national did not have it did not have a link on the position itself. It just says read more. So we could do it that way, Mary Jo.
So I'm going to show off on the impact on issues. Let's see if I can quickly get down to the positions. They have, there we go. So for each one, they have like a quick sentence. This is kind of like the intro part of the policy positions. They refer to it as the summary of policy positions, and we just took these as the one sentence log line. So these would be a good example. As far as MyLO leagues, I don't know any off the top of my head, and we don't keep track of that, but you might poke around and see if you wanted other examples other than the national leagues.
But in this one, if you scroll up again, the first thing, all of these are positions related, well, you went too far, related to representative government. And then they'll have a whole nother category of positions, which makes it sort of difficult to implement in MyLO because you want to put together the ones that relate to each other. And there isn't that hierarchy, I think, in the MyLO implementation where you group a whole bunch under a title.
Right. No, and there is not. If you did want to have them grouping, you could figure out maybe like a naming type of thing, and maybe the
I
initials
think
RG or something, but
I think we did something like that, or to try to keep the right ones together, because then they get all over the place.
yeah, they are in alphabetical order when you add them, when you add the positions. I don't know do you guys want the link to this, the impact on issues?
Oh, I think anybody can get
Yeah, we
that.
know that. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I think it's helpful to just have a quick sentence, even if it's not a full sentence. Some of them start with this league supports, or this league believes, or it's just, this is what you need to do. This is what we believe the position is.
So what order do you have them when they're sucked in from on the web? Go to some other MyLO site or a MyLO site.
To see another example, is that where?
Oh, I see. Okay, so what's the first one here?
For the national leagues?
Yeah, so you get to climate change as the first, and when you look for impact at the issues, on issues or whatever it is, and remember the first one was representative government and a whole bunch of those. So these are, these positions they don't have the hierarchy, and they seem to be the order in which you
And
said
they're not all
alphabet.
there. It's only select ones. I've never understood, except that maybe
for
it
these-
started after a certain time.
These, we are working on it, and that's something that we had shared in a few sessions ago. We have an intern helping us with this. So that's just because we are low on staff and it's taken us some time. So that's slowly being added, the rest of the positions. But yeah, it is in alphabetical order. It is not going to be in the same order that they display in the impact on issues.
Okay.
I think we tried to put, when they were similar, we'd put something ahead of it. So they
Yeah,
had the
that's one
same
way
start.
to force the order.
Yeah.
Have them, maybe it's a symbol that they all share at the beginning, or it's a initials, whatever it is, but you can group them in that way. The other thing that lets you know kind of what group they're in is once you click through to the position, you'll see the issues at the bottom. We definitely need to update some of these because the issues should also include here natural resources, because that's the overarching issue area that climate change belongs to. So that would be another way if folks don't see the overarching issue area that this position is connected to, once they click through to read it, they will see it down below. So when it comes to the issues, it's the same in the league world, but when it comes to MyLO, it's a bit different. And we know that the issues are the issues of focus that we see when we're uploading media. We are asked to relate issues. When we are adding positions, we're asked to relate issues. I think even when we are adding action alerts, that's a question as well. So these issues of focus, they also come from the National League's positions. And these just help to give your content a connected issue area. Really, it's only required for your positions, but any other content, I think you have the option to relate a certain issue. And it connects all of the related content. So we have Orange Coast, who has related an article to the citizens' right to vote. New York State did, the Midland area did as well. So it's
Where are you getting all this?
this I clicked through. I clicked on issues of focus. I don't know if you guys have a link,
Okay.
but let's say I'm going back to Dearborn City Planning here. This position, I have the issue that you guys related to it is local government. When I click on that, it takes me to the, this is the feed for the local government issue page. And it shows me every single league that has related some type of content to it. So Palos Verdes
Wow,
Peninsula
okay.
did,
Okay.
they did another one. Can't tell what that one is, but yeah, we get a collection of all these different leagues that are relating their content. There goes the position from Dearborn Heights. So we may not have the public coming to see these as much. It is really fun though to check these out and see what other leagues are doing, and it really helps our brand to show that we are connected.
Yeah.
But it also helps with like traffic. It
Mm.
adds your links to another page, and it just adds more. It can promote your traffic or your SEO performance. So the more we can put your content out there, the better. And this just helps that.
But one thing I found when I had those, my users were confused. They thought they'd clicked the wrong thing or something. They didn't really understand what the purpose of that, of clicking on the link at the bottom where you have the issue. So that's
figure it
just a
out.
little feedback to you that I actually removed them because my people were confused by them, how they ever got off to that that place.
It may be
Doesn't
something.
hurt anything.
Well, but you think, oh, I'm not on my site anymore. What am I doing over here?
Okay.
It does. I can understand all those advantages to it, but it actually caused problems for my people.
But once you tell them,
Yeah, but how do you tell a whole? I guess
I
maybe
know.
you can put something on the top saying you can learn about what other leagues are doing by clicking on the loops at the bottom.
Yeah, the links to issues at the bottom. Yeah, it could be something added at the top of the positions page or in each individual position at the bottom. But I will see what it may take if it's possible to add that in.
Yeah, you could just have it right before that list of well, it can be just one, but sometimes it's multiple ones. If people knew what the point of those were. I was curious, this is off topic, but at my league meeting, we were talking about how we pay for different things because we have a tendency just to have, like I do GoDaddy, I pay for it and then they give me the money for it. But for MyLO, how do most people pay for their yearly subscription? Do they have a credit card? Do they just do it individually? Can you do it from a bank account?
Yeah. Well, actually, let me double check. Our online, oops, our online store is Square. I don't know if they have a bank account feature or ACH feature. But
I looked at it, I didn't know what all of the options were. There was some scriggly line at the end as an option.
oh, let's see.
Do others, how do the rest of you pay?
We had an invoice and
Yeah, we just got ours.
yeah, we had an invoice and our treasurer paid. So and in our chapter, we don't have a credit card, but we have a checking account. Yeah.
So you write a check for it or something and
The
send it
treasurer
with,
handled it and it is about this time of year. Yeah.
And we have a debit card attached to our bank account. So which you can use as a credit card.
so, but you go in there and use this shopping. That's the one, I don't know what
That's
that
the
is.
squiggly line.
Yeah.
I've seen that logo before, but I can't think of what it is.
So there's Apple Pay. You can probably.
Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, JCB, and I think that's called Afterpay. Yeah, that's the logo.
What is it called?
So
Afterpay. Oh,
Afterpay.
never heard of that.
It's something from Square, it looks like. So it's
Oh.
probably just some type of credit. I don't know if it's an actual card, but it's a way to shop now, pay later, always interest free. I don't know if I believe that.
But this you have to go to the site and pay. There's no automatic payment.
Right. Unfortunately,
the
there isn't
Visa.
like a way to just authorize the payment each year. You do have
Okay.
to manually make the payment. I wonder. I can poke around to see. I don't think that it has a way to take a bank payment. I know we have a virtual terminal, like to accept payments manually as opposed to going through the form, but I would assume it's probably going to give me the same payment options.
Okay, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you learn anything more, we're just trying to improve how we do our payments for different things. It's kind of awkward because people change offices and things. Unfortunately, I've never found anybody else who wants to be the webmaster.
No, it's not a hot job that
No,
everybody's after.
I think they're so glad you get somebody who's willing to do it.
And they run away so
Yes.
that you're
That's-
stuck with it forever.
I was thrilled to find this group because you don't really get too much tutoring and it really changed my world. So thank you.
Well, we're getting to know each other and sort of feel like if we ever saw each other, we'd
No, I remember. Yeah, in the
give each
summer.
other a hug or something.
No, in the summer,
The
I
struggle
remember.
shared.
No, I remember Mary Jo. She was on the only other time I was on. So yeah, I can tell this is the dedicated group. And now we also have a Facebook group and a Google group. This has changed my world. So thank you.
Awesome.
So thanks a lot, Amaris.
Yeah, no problem at all. And one last thing before we hop off, I just wanted to show off the FAQ page. You probably all know about it. It's in our documentation. I just wanted to point it out because I got to updating it. There we go, FAQs. And if you can think of anything that you'd like to see
Oh,
on
good.
here,
Yeah.
let us know.
This is where we can give back to you, Amaris.
Definitely. Yeah. And especially if it's a question that I've answered for you already and you
Yeah.
just say, can you put that on there? Those I love even more because then I don't have to go and rewrite it.
Yeah, right, right.
But anything that you can think of that you think is missing, let me know.
So that
Thanks.
I get to through the MyLO. Okay. Very
Yeah,
good.
yeah, on our documentation page. And I can plop that into. All right, folks. So yeah, I will post the summary for this session and I'll have some more instruction on the managing files, what we talked about today.
And Maurice, it's Mary Jo. I think I asked you about this before, and Jen and I want to quickly ask you something before
yes.
you log off. But when we were talking about members only, I think I told you that somebody, when they went on to the members only, the telephone number was showing. Well, it was there, but it was the shadow was a dark red or something, and it was unreadable instead of purple.
Okay.
Does that sound familiar at all? Because we've been experimenting with a couple people, and that was one of the feedbacks was, well, everything was fine, but at the bottom I couldn't read the phone number.
It was with multiple people.
Well, we only did it with a couple people. I didn't ask the specific question. I just asked for feedback, and that's what she gave me feedback on. But I just remembered that happened once before, and because of, yeah. So somehow the box for the phone was in red or something. I don't know.
Well, it could have to do with their browser. They could even easily try a different browser and see if it's still happening. But what can happen is that they have their browser set up in a way to or when it's a link, they want it to show in red or something.
If
that happens, it'll look
Yeah.
fine when the background is white, but if the background is purple, it's not as pretty.
Okay.
But they might first try a different browser if it's still happening.
But the email wasn't funny though, so that's kind of strange because that would be a link also.
Well, it depends on if they have a phone number or a calling widget. That has happened to me before. I don't think I have the widget.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Let's see if I can enable it.
Oh.
Because it will add. There we go. This is not as obvious as an example, but I just enabled a little phone calling widget and we see it added that there. But depending on the widget, if they are using something, it could be making the link red, the phone link. But if it's only by one person or a handful of people, it's worth checking in with them individually.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You
And
know,
then,
Mary Jo always says, "This is Mary Jo." I think we know it's you now.
Oh, the one that's asking all the silly questions. Well, I'm used to it because I go on so many meetings and so many people. Well, actually, if I can't see them, that doesn't mean they can't see me. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Well, it's just.
But maybe I'm not showing my video all the time either, but okay.
there you go. And I just remembered that you had mentioned about the bulk upload. Do you want to ask your questions about that, or we can meet offline?
I think we were thinking offline would be better because unless other people want to hear about it,
We might as well.
if that's okay.
Yeah, if anybody wants to jump off, you're more than welcome to. But I'm gonna keep recording this session if that's fine. Unless there's any sensitive information, Mary Jo, that we want to keep hidden.
Well, you can edit it.
There you go. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm still masquerading as you. So go ahead and ask away.
Oh, well, I filled out the MyLO form.
Okay.
It seemed really straightforward to me. I took out the ones we'd already done, took out the ones that didn't have emails. So all I do is just send it, right? And you will upload it, or?
Yeah, as long as it's if everything's looking good, all I will do is upload it and it'll create a new user for each, email address that you've provided that's unique. And then if you do need some assistance in sending a welcome email, I can do that as well. Otherwise, I can share the welcome email template with you if you wanted to handle that at another time, or a different way. But yeah, if that comes from us, it will come from, I believe, my alebron@lwvc.org inbox.
Oh,
So yeah,
well,
that's why
yeah.
it may be easier to be sent from you, or in the email we could explain any follow-up, do not reply, instead send an email to such and such. But that's why we say you may want to just handle that welcome on your own. But we can share with you the template that we have.
Well, we already have obviously a template because like I said, we've got, I don't know, maybe 8 people now that are members only.
Okay.
And the people that we experimented with, so they said, and actually somebody sent us the text and it basically says, hello, I think your MyLO administrator has registered you, blah, blah, blah. Here's the unique link to do. So I don't know if that came from you originally. We certainly didn't write it up. But
Well, that sounds like it came from the system.
yes, yes.
With a bulk member upload, that message is not going to be sent.
That was our that was one of our big questions. Remember, Jennifer?
So that's why we offer this alternative of it coming from my inbox. But in that message, if you do want us to send it, in that message, I could include whoever the contact should be and make it clear that I'm not going to ignore anybody that responds. I will send them along, but it would be nice if they're not all responding to me.
So the welcome, because I think that's what it's called, the welcome message. We can't actually do that, I guess, but you're saying you can send something to them.
Where I'm like
Coming
actually
from
going
you.
into my inbox. Yeah. So the steps that I would take would be going through the MyLO system, uploading the Excel or CSV file that you share with me of your members. That creates each new member, and the system does not give me the option to notify them of their new user account. So once I've done that, then I do a mail merge essentially. I go through Word and do a mail merge to send the bulk email out to each user. And it specifies their unique username and their unique password, because we usually start them off with the default password. And then that extra little blurb of, don't respond to me, reach out to this person. But that's how we could set that up as far as the welcome.
So maybe Jennifer and I need to talk because as you could tell from some of the emails that you received, Maurice, I'm looking for somebody, I can't find them. And then when I add them, it says this email is already being used. And so my question was, is there some giant list in the sky of people that have maybe, a while ago and they don't remember, tried to, create an account and it's there in Etherland and that I can't find them when I'm looking for them? So anyway, so it sounds to me like getting a good list of the members, and then maybe we would take over of adding them to our league.
Oh, no, not.
I would
there's
recommend
too
that.
many.
Yeah,
I
you
would
don't wanna
recommend the
do
bulk member upload because
Well,
regardless.
I meant do what you're doing.
Okay.
But you said in order to, nothing's going to happen until or you mean the bulk upload also includes adding them to the Dearborn Heights League?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were just, okay, I apologize. I thought you were doing part 1. All right.
No, yeah, it does it all. So they will be listed in your league. But what you're referring to, when a member creates their own user account, that can often happen. And let's say demo@demo.org is my email address, and I've already added myself as a user, but Mary Jo, you're also trying to add me. If that happens, what you want to do is under add member, you can first, before you go on to create new user, your first step should be to search for that user. I can search by my username, or I can search by my email address. And typically, if the user has created their own account, you don't know their username typically, but you
Right.
do know their email address.
Email, yeah, okay.
So you can search by both. If it is, and I'm still working in yours, so I won't add my person, but if I find the right person, I just want to select them from the list
Right,
and then add user. That's
Right.
going to spit me back out to the manage members list.
right,
And then from there, you can go ahead and, let's say if you want to make changes to their user profile, click on their username, and then you can edit. That way you could change someone's email address, their username, their
right.
password,
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah,
is.
Yeah, and so maybe my problem was I wasn't using email. Like I think Jennifer found a couple using email instead of their name, but anyway, so one option would be to say, to send something out to all the members to tell them that, I don't know, that you're adding.
Yeah, kind of giving them a heads up.
Heads
that
up, yeah,
You
and
could
that-
say my email address too, just so that they know it's a trusted
okay.
source.
And that you will, the welcoming email will be telling you how to, the user, how to change their password. Now, that was another funny feedback I got, was they were being told to change their password, but they didn't even know they had a password. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
So-
that's because the password was changed at,
I know that,
Me-
Jennifer, but they don't know
but
that.
that gave them the link.
Well, okay, that was just some feedback, but so, okay, so we want to warn the members that this is going to happen and that they're going to receive an email welcoming them and giving them a chance to fill out their profile if they want, which includes an email, right?
Yes, and that'll already be included. The
Yeah.
email,
Yeah.
the username, and their
Yeah.
password,
this
and
is
their first and
probably-
last name.
And this is probably the template that you were talking about, that you typically send out,
Yes.
that goes out to the members. Okay. So what if somebody gets this email and they don't do anything about it? We just won't have any more information about them, and
Their
they won't-
account will
they
just
won't
sit
be able
there.
to log in.
They would if they looked at the email.
Well, will the email tell them that their change me is their password?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I apologize. All right. Because when my person told me, when one of my guinea pigs did it, I had her, say over the phone what she saw, and then I received the written part, and I don't remember seeing anything about your
Yeah,
current
because
password
that's
has changed
different
me.
than the bulk member upload.
Yes,
If
that's
they're
what I'm
doing
trying
it-
to find out. Okay.
Yeah, if they're doing it individually, they have the ability to be notified by or about their new user account.
Yeah.
And then that wording and the process is totally different.
Oh, got it. Okay. Okay, well.
Wouldn't it be a good idea to just get rid of all those guinea pigs?
Oh, no, they're real.
No, but I mean, then you'd have it all a clean slate.
It
Well,
doesn't really affect, it's fine if they're already in there, as long as they're not on the list in the bulk member upload. Even if they
Right.
are on the list, they're
Yeah,
gonna get
but the-
rejected because they're
yeah.
duplicates anyway. So
Yeah,
either
yeah.
way, they can be left in there.
Okay. So, is it possible to see the template that you use, or should we just assume
Oh,
that?
I downloaded it.
Covers all
filled it
bases.
out. Yeah.
This one, yeah, this is the template
Oh.
to use. It's on the manage your online members.
Oh, no, I meant the template. I
documentation.
meant what's going to be contained in the message you sent to them. That's what I meant.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but basically kind of what you told us. I mean,
Yeah, it is. Let me see if I can easily
welcoming
pull-
letter and from Amaris. And I'll have your email, and then welcoming you gives you a link to update your profile, I
I
guess.
think it's this one.
And your password.
Oh, well, that's what, isn't that what they get now or not?
No, this is what
different.
comes from us, from the MyLO
Oh.
team.
Okay, all right.
It's
Okay.
similar to like the welcome email you got when you
Oh.
first started.
All right, thank you. So-
And then you could change it or add a line saying, please do not reply to this email. Any questions?
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
definitely tweak it because right now it's ending as if it's coming from the League webmaster. But as long as you share with me also the email, that'll make it easier to make it clear who
Yes.
to respond to. But
Yes.
yeah, this is the template I would use to welcome them.
Okay, and how can I, is there a way that I can copy that? I don't
Let me
know.
go ahead and share the link.
Thank you.
Can you make it a PDF? Save it as a PDF and.
You can do whatever you'd like with it.
Yeah, she's gonna send us the
I'm
link.
talking about now. And so, because I know what Mary Jo wants to do. She wants to read it. See if there
Well,
are
I've
any.
sent the link to it.
She's sending me, she's sending the link to the
Okay.
chat. Is it in chat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just saved it.
Oh, the sample welcome letter. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Perfect.
Yeah, because I know Mary Jo wants to.
Yeah.
She's like
Oh,
that.
it's saving as a web page. Oh, I'll worry about that later. Okay, so then I guess at this point, we'll get back to you then, Maurice, and how much will you tell us when you'll do it so I know how much time we've got to send something out to our members?
Yeah, if you need some time after you sent it, just let me know in the email if you know
Okay.
if I should wait some time, because typically I usually get to it maybe that same day or by the next.
Oh, okay, we
But
didn't
if
know.
you need some extra time, just let me know.
Okay,
Or if you have an idea of when I should shoot for.
yeah, okay. Does that sound good, Jennifer?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you so much, Anne
Thank you so
Maurice.
much. This is
Yeah.
great.
Okay,
No problem at all, folks.
we'll get the email ready and send it to you with all that information.
Yep,
The,
sounds good. Yeah, and that list.
And the list, the address for questions,
Awesome.
and when Mary Jo will be ready to start fielding, or to let the members know.
Yeah.
So that's 3 things. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem at
Thank
all.
you.
I will talk to y'all soon.